Sticky points. Teacher educators re-examine their practice in light of a new Alberta Social Studies program and its inclusion of Aboriginal perspectives by Dr. Kent Denhire. Dr. Kent Denhire first received his Bachelor of Arts from Carleton University in Ottawa, Canada. He then went on to receive a Bachelor of Education from Mount Allison. Dr. Denhire also achieved a Master of Arts from the Ontario Institute for Studies in Education at the University of Toronto. His final degree was a doctorate in curriculum studies from the University of British Columbia. While at UBC, Dr. Denhire worked for the Centre for the Study of Historical Consciousness. While here, he was dedicated to research into the intersections of collective memory, history education, social psychology, media studies. Dr. Denhire has taught multiple subjects in Canada and internationally. He currently works at the University of Alberta with teacher candidates in the curricula area of social studies. Dr. Denhire has also worked with teacher education programs in the United States. He currently serves as editor of Canadian Social Studies. Dr. Denhire's current research is focused on the conditions necessary for social change and psychoanalytical approaches to anti-racist educations and curriculum theory. At this time, I would not consider Dr. Denhire an ally educator, as will be further outlined in this presentation. The context of the discussions that the text is contributing to is around the area that embedding multiple perspectives into the social studies curriculum creates sticky points regarding Aboriginal perspectives. The reason for analysis of this article centers on my own research around how the Kairos blanket exercise may allow participants to become open and willing to move forward with Aboriginal history and perspectives within their own practice. And does such practice as this allow people to change their mindsets to allow the process of reconciliation to occur within the public education system? Research illustrates that the lack of Aboriginal content and worldview is very much situated in colonialism, lack of knowledge and or education, and resistance to change. Denhire's article is examining the Alberta Social Studies curriculum in 2009 and the required or mandated embedment of multiple perspectives, including Aboriginal and Francophone worldviews. I wanted to look at the Alberta experience excuse me, to see any correlation to the new BC curriculum in which Aboriginal perspectives are mandated to be included in all subject areas K to 12. The BC curriculum, or the new curriculum, has 3 components of what students can demonstrate by their knowing, doing, and understanding. In addition, teachers are asked to include the First Peoples principles of learning. And how does all of this relate to the Alberta experience? What is the correlation? In addition, Denhire published his study in 2009 prior to the TRC report, which states that all jurisdictions must make age-appropriate curriculum on residential schools, treaties, Aboriginal peoples, historical and contemporary contributions to Canada, a mandatory education requirement for kindergarten to grade 12 students. What is the problem being addressed? In Denhire's article, he's looking at educator programs with new curriculum in Alberta around 2009. He examines how teachers are to focus the curriculum on citizenship and identity through multiple perspectives, including Francophone and Aboriginal perspectives. Denhire looks at the debate and how some of it is centered on how to best improve educational achievement in Indigenous communities and culturally appropriate ways to assess this achievement. The second concern that Denhire was focused on is, should Aboriginal perspectives be offered as standalone courses or infused within all subject matters? Denhire focuses on infusing and embedding within all subject areas, but focuses on social studies curriculum where it was mandated that these perspectives be included. As mentioned before, teachers were to embed Aboriginal and Francophone perspectives through the lens of identity and citizenship. What is the nature of this problem? What Denhire discusses is that teacher candidates felt ill-prepared, that they had anxiety over Aboriginal perspectives, but not Francophone. Denhire further goes on to look at this anxiety and feelings of not being able to include Aboriginal perspectives through two views of curriculum. The two views of curriculum that Denhire focuses on is curriculum as content and curriculum as encounter. Denhire further examines with curriculum as content that the high anxiety that was expressed around Aboriginal perspectives is complicated by these differing interpretations of curriculum. Curriculum as content puts curriculum more as a thing, how to best convey content that students should acquire. As encounter, curriculum becomes a program, a way of knowing that lives beyond the school. Denhire further argues that this form of curriculum creates two dimensions and has identified a necessity to learn from knowledge already possessed and from resistance to questions, issues, and alternate perspectives. Denhire further suggests that Aboriginal perspectives may unsettle or complicate and or confirm deeply held intellectual beliefs and emotional investments related to 5 key things. These 5 key areas are: what have we learned about ourselves and the world? Those from who we have learning theory as a general topic, learning theory as it relates to becoming a teacher, and learning how to teach a particular subject. Denhire suggests that embedding Aboriginal perspectives will force teacher educators to let go of protecting their privilege of not needing to embed Aboriginal perspectives, and that they may actually be afraid of losing their privilege. What is the proposed solution? Denhire's proposed solution for teacher educators learning how to embed Aboriginal perspectives is through the conversational method and a creation of comfort. Denhire says that sticky points are the difficult conversational methods or points of contention that embedment of Aboriginal perspectives in K-12 education bring up. He says that the relevant role of comfort and discomfort or apprehension is necessary in teacher education, that there must be a creation of comfort with Aboriginal perspectives with teachers, and that there is a need for differences in approaches to teacher education, and that this may be key to creating comfort. Denhire further looks at how different courses and teacher preparation programs may or may not create this sense of comfort. One of the examples that Denhire provides is that lecturing on Aboriginal history versus providing real perspectives provides teacher candidates with a different understanding of what Aboriginal world views are and or may include. He goes on to further argue that Aboriginal perspectives are best achieved through curricula as encounter, not as a thing. Denhire highlights that teachers fear that they may be at fault if they do not cover or convey the content requirement, and that teachers are still stuck in the sticky point of tell me what to do and I'll do it, and that in order to move beyond the sticky point, it requires that politics of clarity be disrupted. What can individuals do to make the solution a reality according to the text? Unfortunately, Denhire doesn't go into great depth of what individuals can do to make the solution a reality, What he does address is that curriculum needs to be more of encounter rather than content, and that learning is not always content. Unfortunately, Den Heyer does not look at how to move past the sticky points or the resistance. He just highlights where the resistance or the sticky points come from. How does the article contribute to discussions about Indigenous and non-Indigenous education? Den Heyer focuses on the fears and the sticky points that some educators are still at the worksheet checkbox, that embedding Aboriginal perspectives is not always sincere or authentic. He addresses the discomfort that may be created through decentering belief systems or in developing an understanding of the hidden agenda in schooling. He does address that there needs to be this discomfort, and he focuses on the fear and resistance to authentic embedment of Aboriginal perspectives. Unfortunately, he does not highlight that most educators are currently non-Indigenous themselves, and they do not understand or have not been shown why it's important that embedment needs to be authentic, that there needs to be authentic Aboriginal and Indigenous voices. Through this article and others, it is obvious that authentic embedment is not occurring yet. This article really does not add much more to the discussion other than acknowledging that educators are still uncomfortable including Aboriginal perspectives in their classroom and in their practice. So what are the limits and blind spots of the article? How could the article be improved? The first limitation with Den Heyer is that his actual argument is quite limited. Den Heyer points out that the Alberta Social Studies curriculum was to embed Aboriginal perspectives in order to improve Aboriginal student success and how to assess this success. However, he doesn't discuss the rationale or why students are not succeeding or what is meant by success. He doesn't acknowledge the colonial system of education doesn't align with Aboriginal worldviews or perspectives on education. As stated in the previous slide, the article does not highlight that most educators are non-Indigenous and why they are struggling with understanding their own role in colonial education. The article is also very limited in addressing how to move forward from the sticky points. He does not move past examining teacher candidate fears in social studies curriculum, and it comes across that the author himself does not appear to understand what it actually means to include Aboriginals' perspectives, and this prevents him from providing a solution to moving past those sticky points. Furthermore, Den Heyer does not discuss what Aboriginal perspectives are or what training is actually offered to teacher candidates other than what is learned in their social studies methodology courses. Because the author himself does not appear to understand Aboriginal perspectives, his argument is simplified in terms of embedding and his discussion of understanding the two theories of curriculum. Number one, that curriculum is a thing, and number two, that it is an encounter. But he doesn't really get into the differences between the two in terms of Aboriginal perspectives. This illustrates Den Heyer not understanding what it means to include Indigenous voices beyond an academic analysis. Improvements for the article. Den Heyer needs to address why there is a need to authentically include Aboriginal perspectives and how to actually move past what he calls the sticky points. What interesting questions does the article prompt that could advance the discussion in education? For myself, The questions that I'd like to ask Den Hauer are, if you could go back and re-interview people in your article, do you think that their answers would have changed since the publication of the TRC? In the first place, why did you feel compelled to explore this question? Was it his own discomfort around embedment of Aboriginal perspectives? And could you provide your own examples of how you've embedded multiple perspectives in your classroom practice, including Aboriginal perspectives? I'd also like to know more about the author's own interpretations of the new curriculum.